Good morning, everybody. Uh, Good morning, Thomas. How you doing? I don't even have my lights together like I'm supposed to. I don't have my lights together like I'm supposed to. Do. There you go. Good morning, here to learn and share. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Good morning. If this is your first time tuning in to Tim's Tidbits, please allow me to say welcome. If it's not your first time tuning in to Tim's Tidbit, I still want to say welcome and give you a nice hearty, well, thank you for always tuning in to Tim's Tidbits. If you don't know who I am, my name is Timothy Lee Rogers Sr. I get on Al Gore's internet and I share my opinion, if you will, of price action. And I share my understanding of the ICT concepts taught by Michael J. Huddleston. If you're into that, tune in. If you're not into that, tune out. Makes me know, never mind. Shout out to the gang. Before we get started, for anyone that hasn't been tapped in or anyone that's not part of the gang and you're trying to figure out where I've been, we had a death in the family. So I've been taking some time to think about it, deal with it, still dealing with it. So that's that. That's out of the way. Now let's move on to the overnight price action. Shout out Rhonda. She shared in the Discord a recap of the schedule, if you will, that I put out to the gang. Appreciate you, Rhonda, for always coming through in the Cobra clutch. All right, so that's the weekly. All right. These are, for those who are wondering what PD arrays I may be watching, these are the ones I'm watching. Those that's in the gang who were tapped into the first Sunday Q&A, y'all understand why these are the PD arrays that I'm watching. For those that's not tapped in, I'm watching these. Well, we talked about all that already before, so let's just get to the overnight price action. I'm doing it on the 15-minute chart so we can get, plenty up, man. Much detail to get. It ain't much detail to get. All right, so Friday, we made it back to consequent encroachment of this 4-hour SIBI. Right, we were watching the 4-hour SIBI. We were anticipating price of filling this weekly SIBI that we talked about. We spoke about that. Quick recap on that. We talked about we had a deep retracement candle on this weekly SIBI right here that we formed for the week 415 week is the 415 SIBI on the weekly, right? We created a very small SIBI there with this deep retracement candle. We talked about how when we see a deep retracement candle like this paired with, anticipatory reactionary points, we traded into a weekly BISI there. We had traded down, into this monthly BISI. And then we had a strong reaction. So we got a strong reaction at a reactionary point. A strong retracement candle creating a SIBI at an anticipatory reactionary point. and created a SIBI. So we anticipated on the very next candle, and at the minimum 2 candles later, but we an immediate like either fill or revisit of that SIBI. And there it is. That's why we were watching that. We traded into it. We talked about we got the order block right there, the weekly order block that we're watching at the top of this 4-hour imbalance. We talked about the daily breaker that we have there in the same place here, pretty much the same place. We got the daily breaker there at the top of this 4-hour SIBI. Okay, we and then yeah, so that's where we are now, and we're watching how price plays out. We want to see what price is going to do when if we decide to fill, which is looking like we're going to decide to fill this 4-hour imbalance, and how it's going to react at this weekly and daily point right here. This is, for those who don't know or don't understand what I'm saying, this is our anticipatory reactionary point. When price gets there, we want to see what price is doing. Right now, price is bearish. So if this day right here on 5/6 creates a BISI there, right? If that creates a BISI, then I ain't gonna say we, I would anticipate this to become an inversion fair value gap. Why? Because price is bearish right now. So I would anticipate it to, I would want to see it become an inversion fair value gap where price interacts with our anticipatory reactionary point and then gets below it and then uses it to push down to the sell side, right? Because price is bearish. Now, what would this ain't got nothing to do with overnight price action, but I'm running my mouth. What would invalidate that for me, right? We create this BISI, okay? Price trades back to the BISI and respects it and creates another BISI here. That would invalidate that for me. So if this daily BISI here is respected and we push up and we create another BISI here with an expansion candle, then that would invalidate that for me. And I would look for price to go up, right? But I don't see that happening the way price is trading. And because the higher time frame, there's no imbalances up here on the weekly or the monthly. There's no imbalances up there, and price has been bearish. And on the monthly, we closed below consequent encroachment of this monthly fair value gap for the month of March. Well, no, not March, April. For the month of April, so I personally don't see that as, pushing back up here, but it can. That's why I say we're at an anticipatory reactionary point. So we let price show us what it wants to do. And remember, whatever time frame you're watching, you want price to show you what it wants to do on that time frame. So if you're watching the monthly, it might take until the end of June before you know what the monthly chart wants to do. because you need like 2-3 candles, you know what I'm saying, to formulate ideas. On the weekly, we're on the weekly chart right now, but on the weekly chart, here we are. We came above this weekly SIBI, right? We closed above it. So now we're anticipating it to trade into the weekly. And we have hit the weekly order blocks wick. All right. Look there. Look at the wick of the order block here. Right. We've touched the wick right now. Right. So we're looking for it to come up, maybe touch the body, fill in this 4-hour imbalance. Right. We look at a 4-hour chart, right? Looking for it to fill this 4-hour imbalance right there. And then push down. But if price wants to go higher, that's why I say that's when we look to see, does this daily BISI want to support price? Because now you would have a daily BISI there. You would have a 4-hour inversion fair value gap there. That's the stuff that you have to fight through to come back down at the sell side. Okay. But the higher time frames, higher than 4-hour, don't have any imbalances up here. But there is a 4-hour imbalance. There are 4-hour imbalances up here. All right, you got 1, 2 of them. I ain't gonna highlight both of them. I'm just gonna put them together. There's 2 4-hour imbalances right there. That's in that area. All right. So that could be a draw. Right. There is a 4-hour imbalance way up there. Right. But we could leave that and come down because there's no higher time frame up there. There's no daily, there's no weekly, there's no monthly. So we could just leave that. Right. Because we're right here at a weekly. Right. We're right here at a weekly PD array, at a daily PD array, even at a 4-hour PD array, right here at this 4-hour imbalance. Right. So we're at our anticipatory reactionary point. Let price show you what it wants to do. Remember, wicks do the damage. We can even wick up there, taking out this buy side right there. Right. Why would we want to wick up there and take out that buy side? Because you have a lot of people that trade trend lines, right? You have a lot of people that trade trend lines, and they are looking at this trend line liquidity right here. Oh, we already tapped that right there. All right, we already tapped it there. See right now? We already tapped that trend line there. So get above that. If we close above this right here, now that we've tapped that trend line liquidity, now if we close above that, then you will have people seeing this trend line here, expecting it to become support. So they would get long here, right? And then when we come up here and hit this imbalance, if we were to drop, now they are stuck long. Right. And if we get our inversion like we talked about, right? always understand how price can move. When you understand what the algorithm does, and when you see stuff start to play out, you'll be like, I was anticipating that. That's why I call it an anticipatory reactionary point. When we get there, I look at both sides of the story. What will the algorithm attack? Because when it comes to price, the algorithm punishes and traps. That's all it does. It punishes and traps. How does it punish? It punishes people that move their stops too quickly. How does it trap? It traps people who try to play the breakouts. Punishing traps. Right? And there's no higher time frame PD arrays up here. So it's no weekly, no dailies up here. Right? We have a 4-hour PD array right there in close proximity where we're at this weekly. And how do you make a bearish candle with a long wick on top? You trade up first. So we're at a weekly PD array right here, weekly anticipatory reactionary point. If we start the week out trading up into this area here, get a chance to trap some trend line traders. All right. First thing you're going to do right here is punish anyone who put their shortstop there, anyone who put their shortstop there, punish, right? And then trap anybody that played the breakout above this trend line right here. Punish, trap. All right. Not saying that's how it will play out, but you always want to understand, you know, you want to think like the algorithm, because the algorithm needs liquidity to make its move. It needs liquidity to make its move. So you always want to think like the algorithm. Where can the algorithm get liquidity? And then, you know, I'm anticipating it from a bearish standpoint because we're moving into a bearish seasonality. We're moving into a bearish seasonality, and on the higher time frames, we have imbalances below us, and on the daily time frame, if I'm not mistaken, I think we had some bearish divergence and we started to pull back. Right? Is that enough of a pullback to satisfy the algorithm to continue higher? I don't freaking know. But how do you make a monthly candle with a wick on the top? You trade up first. It's the beginning of the month, 5-6, and we've been trading up. So that's how you make a monthly candle with a wick on the top, and put it in the terms of the power of 3, right? What's the terms of power of 3? Okay, you got accumulation, you got manipulation, you got distribution, right? That's the power of 3. What does that look like? What does the power of 3 look like when you see it play out in price? You got accumulation. Let's just do it in the bearish stance, right? Accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, right? Then close, right there. It's a bar. It's a bar. But if you look at it in the sense of a candle, right? This candle would be a red candle with a wick on the top and wick on the bottom. Like that. So that's what that candle would look like. And we started our monthly candle and we're going up. So if this turns out to be a bearish candle, meaning we close below this 50-50 even, then we will have a wick on the top. All right. And then however low we went, if we come down and take out this monthly low, all right, and then close somewhere at the low. So we'll have accumulation, manipulation, distribution, and close toward the low. And you'll have a red candle with a wick on the top. in the sense of the power of 3. All right. Speaking 3, let's look at the 3 sisters. We're going to get to the overnight price action. I'm just running my mouth right now. Sometimes I just need to talk, especially during this time. Especially during this time. So we're looking at put my crosshairs on. All right. And if we look here, right, you can see it on the monthly chart right here. Also, I can't remember if we looked at it at a monthly or daily chart. And if you look at here, right, where the ES made the higher high there. All right. If you look at the NQ, it made a lower high on that month. Then the Dow was pretty much looked like it might have been a higher high, but yeah, slightly higher high on the Dow. So on the monthly, that right there is bearish divergence. All right, that's what I was talking about. I think we looked at it. I think we looked at it on the daily when we looked at the charts together. If I'm not mistaken, I think we looked at it on the daily charts. Yeah. Yeah, we did. We looked at it on the daily time frame. I believe. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. We looked at it because we looked at it here where we was looking at how the Dow and the ES made higher highs there. Then the NQ made a lower high right there. Yeah, so we looked at it on the daily, but that time I just looked at it on the monthly. So that was our bearish divergence there, and then we dropped, right? We had a bearish divergence, and then we dropped, giving us the institutional sponsorship. And then now that's why I say price is bearish now. And so we're anticipating price to continue down because we had bearish divergence, and then we got institutional sponsorship following. And then we're going into the bearish seasonality. So that's why I'm anticipating price to continue down. Now, price can do what it wants to do. And we're at an anticipatory reactionary point. So that's why I'm aware of both sides of the story. So if I see price show me that it doesn't want to go down, that's why I said, again, if price respects this BC, right, and comes up creating a BC over here, right, then that would invalidate me wanting this to be an inversion fair value gap to attack the lows, and then I would start looking for a reason to attack the highs, right? So this here would be my new anticipatory reactionary point where price comes in and on a lower time frame give me a signal to attack the high. I beat that horse enough. Now let's look at the overnight price action. Just a quick recap of what we just a quick recap of some of the stuff we talked about on the Q&A. And if you're not a part of the gang, you're welcome. Because I know people don't be wanting to go back and relook at videos, even though the wonderful Arthur Runda Green be making them amazing comments with all the highlights and timestamps. I know y'all don't be wanting to go back through and watch the videos. 6 o'clock is when the evening starts. Let me fix this real quick. To be remembering the last settings you had. Okay, so 6 o'clock. Like I said, we have made it to consequent encroachment of the 4-hour SIBI. We opened up right at the high from Friday. We gapped up to Friday's high, took it out, and then we traded back down into this bullish order block right here. And we just kind of consolidated there at this 15-minute order block and at the consequent encroachment of the 4-hour SIBI. We stayed there up until 1:30 in the morning. The midnight open was at 51.60 even. And then at the 1:30 candle, we pushed up, taking out the short-term sell buy side above that consolidation from the 8:15 count, pretty much from 8 o'clock until 1:30. So we took out the short-term buy side, creating a BISI, and we traded back down into that BISI on the 345 candle. And then we just went straight up since then. So very lackluster price action throughout the Asian, lackluster price action throughout the London. And then on the 4 o'clock candle, we look like all signs are pointing to repricing the entire SIBI. So price action was very lackluster throughout the night. If you trade the London and you did not take advantage of getting long around the midnight open on this retracement back down that started at 3:15 and retraced back down, it was like a 30-minute retracement. Started at 3:15 and then got there when the 3:45 candle, so pretty much like an hour, and then it took off. It retraced for like an hour and then it took off. So if you didn't get involved in this retracement right here, you just had to watch it go, because it didn't really give any other opportunities after that. And then now coming here at the 9:30 open, we traded back down into these down close candles right here, and we're pushing up. That brought it, we traded back down. It brought us right back down to this little area of consolidation. When we trade here 8:40, 8:15, 8:30, traded back down into this little area of consolidation and then start to push up. And then on a 9:30 candle, I don't know if we went up or down first. We can check that. Go down to a 1-minute chart. So on the 9:30 candle, we pulled down first. So we came down, took out the short-term sell side, and then pushed up, creating a BISI here on this 9:37 candle. Look like we got an institutional order flow entry drill on it, because it looks like we took out that. Yes, we did. Right. So got an institutional order flow entry drill on the 9:41 candle, pushed up a little bit. Now we're just kind of dilly-dallying closer and closer and closer to the high of that 4-hour SIBI that we had been watching since last week. And with that, I think that's the end of the overnight price action. Does anybody have anything for me? It's 10 o'clock. Does anybody have anything for me? Well, I look to see what the 60-minute chart looks like. Discord, I'm about to cover y'all. I'm about to move y'all. So if anybody in the Discord and got anything, just unmute and say, hey, Tim, because I'm not looking in that direction. And then if you got anything for me, drop it in the chat and I will look over there in just a second. Okay, so we got this hourly. We got this hourly. Market maker buy model here on the hourly time frame with some buy side resting there. See if price wants to draw into that buy side or not. We have the hourly SIBI there. We got an hourly SIBI there. Y'all know whenever you're watching a higher time frame imbalance and there's a lower time frame just above it, that lower time frame imbalance can be the cause of that overshooting. We talked about that too last night on the Q&A. All right, you see how we're watching this 4-hour SIBI here, seeing how there's a 1-hour SIBI on top of it. If price wants to respect this 4-hour SIBI and go down from here, right, price can actually, on a 4-hour basis, because we just finished a 4-hour candle. It's 10 o'clock. Let's go to 4 hours now. All right. So on a 4-hour basis, see how we just finished this 4-hour candle right here? So price, if price wants to respect this 4-hour SIBI, see how we closed inside this 4-hour SIBI and this candle opening inside this 4-hour SIBI, price can realistically wick through to this hourly SIBI, take out that buy side, right? Touch this 4-hour SIBI and then come back down and close inside this 4-hour SIBI and still be respecting it, because wicks do the damage and bodies tell the story. So you would kill a lot of birds with that one stone, right? You would punish anybody who brought their stops to there, right? Anybody who's trying to play the breakout, you would trap anybody that's trying to play the breakout above these highs. So wicks do the damage, bodies tell the story. We're at an anticipatory reactionary point. Let it tell you the story on that time frame. Okay, so we're talking about 4-hour PD arrays. This is a 4-hour SIBI. This is a 4-hour SIBI, right? We just finished a 4-hour candle and we stayed inside this SIBI, right? Excuse me. Yes, we got above consequent encroachment, right? We got above consequent encroachment of this SIBI, but what's driving us to get above consequent encroachment of that SIBI? We have a higher time frame. We got a weekly and a daily, right? We got a weekly and a daily. Our weekly order block is here. Bearish order block open, right? We got a weekly order block there. We got a daily breaker there. Do I have anything for a breaker? Breaker, yeah, breaker close. Bearish break. I need a bearish breaker close. Okay, so now let's go. Wait a minute. And then we go back to the 4-hour. Okay, so remember, let it tell the story. Okay, let it tell you the story on that time frame. Okay, all right. Yes, we got above consequent encroachment of the 4-hour, but we had higher time frame order blocks and breaker above us, so that's expected to trade above that. Now that we're in the higher time frame breaker and order block, right? We're at the higher time frame breaker and order block. Now on the 4-hour, you want to see how price reacts here, right? So now on the 4 hour, if we create a BISI here, right? We already created a BISI there. If we create a BISI here, then on the 4 hour, you want to see how the 4 hour candles react to this area. You got a 1 hour imbalance, which is a higher time frame imbalance above you. You're at a daily breaker. You're at a daily bearish breaker, a weekly bearish order block, right? And then you got buy side resting up there. Okay. And you have a 4 hour imbalance resting above that buy side. Okay. So you look to see how does the 4 hour candles trade in this area. And once you see how the 4 hour candles are trading in this area, then you want to see what are the daily candles doing in this area. All right. What are the daily candles doing in this area? So on a daily basis, you got to see what today's candle do. Today's candle, will today's candle create a BISI, right? Then you want to see what Tuesday's candle is going to do. Does Tuesday candle go and take out this buy side, right? Or does today's candle take out this buy side, right? What does Tuesday candle do? Today, so far, we're looking like we're going to create an expansion candle right here. This is what people always say, Tim, how do I see it in real time? I'm walking through it right now. This is how you see it in real time. There's no such thing as, oh, I know exactly what it's going to do. There's not. You sit there and you watch what price is telling you with the clues that is leaving in accordance to the concepts. So now it's looking like we're going to make an expansion candle for this 1, 2, 3 candle pattern that's called a fair value gap. So if we make an expansion candle there, right, we don't anticipate price coming immediately back to that imbalance, right? We have an expansion candle. We would expect price to leave that alone until it handles some other business. What other business can it handle? Come and take out this buy side. Why does it need buy side? It needs to take out buy side so that the algorithm can get short. If the algorithm is bearish and the algorithm wants to come down here to Picasso's house, he has to go get money from somewhere so that he can catch the bus to Picasso's house. Where's he going to get money from? People who move their stops down here, right? People that move their stops because they're looking at this trend line. So they're trusting this trend line and they move their stops to above this high right here, right? Boom, get their money. Who else money are they getting it from? People who wants to play this as a breakout, right? Get their money too. Now that they got their money, now it can do what it needs to do. It's not a straight line, but it can do what it needs to do. Okay. This is how you see it in real time. People be like, Tim, I can't see breakers in real time. I can't see breakers in real time. Okay. We're on a daily chart. We already talked about what the daily chart can do, right? We look like we just started the day, but we look like we're making an expansion candle. At 4:30, at 4 o'clock today, if this ends up being an expansion candle, now we know we got a BISI right here. Okay. We know we got buy side resting right there. So now we're anticipating price to attack that buy side. Okay. We don't have any swing lows up in here on the daily, right? So then we can go down to a 4 hour, right? All right, we go down to a 4 hour. Now, on the 4, let's move all these lines again. On the 4 hour, right? If you look on the 4 hour, we have us a swing low right here. There's a swing low right there on the 4 hour. That's not a happy face. That's a swing low. All right, there's a swing low right there on the 4 hour. All right, and then we just say we got this BISI here. Let's say we just keep going up and we don't create another swing low in between this one and taking out that buy side, right? We don't create another swing low between here and taking out the buy side on the 4 hour. When we come back down below consequent encroachment of this 4 hour SIBI, below this low right here, now you have a bearish breaker right there. That's how you see the formation of a breaker in real time. All right. That's how you see the formation of a breaker in real time. And what, not just that, you got to understand the whole narrative. Let me keep going. I don't want to stop there. Right. And what makes that a bearish breaker is because you're anticipating price to be bearish. Price has been bearish. And if you look at the dealing range that we would have been created, right? What's the dealing range? We took out sell side with this low. If we come up here and take out this buy side, we've taken out buy side with that high. Now, this, what would this right here would be in the premium of this move. So now you have a bearish breaker in the premium of a move. Where do we want to sell? We want to sell in the premium. So that would make you anticipate this to be a bearish breaker, because price is bearish, right? We've established a dealing range by taking out sell side and taking out buy side. And then we create, let me get this off the screen right here. This don't look right. That look crazy. Okay. All right. So we've taken out sell side. We would have taken out buy side. And then if we don't create another swing low on this 4 hour time frame, when price trades down below that low, now we've established a dealing range. We have a breaker in the premium of our dealing range. So when we come up to this premium PD array, right, and price is bearish, we would anticipate it to be a breaker. You missed everything. It'll be it's recorded. It'll be on here. It'll be on here. So that's it, man. Anybody got anything for me? That's how you watch stuff in real time. That's how you learn to watch stuff in real time. Just want to cover that, right? And because you look for this stuff at the anticipatory reactionary points. That's where you look for this stuff at the anticipatory reactionary points. Understanding how candles are made, understanding how price moves, understanding, accumulation, manipulation, distribution, understanding all of that, knowing when to look for it, when not to look for it. When do you look for it? During kill zones. When do you look for these moves? During kill zones. When do you look for it? What's on the economic calendar, right? You do stuff like that, looking at the economic calendar. Will they try to manipulate during a certain time? Looking at the economic calendar, there's not a lot of manipulating news going on this week. We just got the normal unemployment numbers. Then we got consumer sentiment on Friday. There's no heavily manipulating news coming out this week, right? And we ain't got nothing where they're going to use the news to manipulate it to a certain spot. Right now, you look at, okay, is it going to be some manipulating news? No, it's not. Okay, well, what times of day does price used to do whatever, stuff like that. Stuff like that. Keep all of that in mind. I don't see nothing in the chat. I didn't hear nobody unmute on Discord. So that's gonna be it, man. Entschuldigen Sie bitte. For those who don't sprechen Sie Deutsch, I said, excuse me. I said, excuse me. Entschuldigen Sie bitte. Please, excuse me, please excuse me. That's it, man. If this first time tuning into overnight price action, hanging out with your boy during Tim's Tidbits, I appreciate you for tapping in. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and tap in again. Be part of the gang. I appreciate y'all for holding me down. Appreciate the prayers and the words of concern. Yes, multilingual. Again, when I get the official address and stuff from my nephew, I'll post it in the Discord for anybody who wants to share cards or flowers or whatever. I'll post it in the Discord. Other than that, if you're going to trade, please trade safe. If you're not going to trade, please take a copious amounts of notes so you can go back and study what you saw today and then apply it to your future trading endeavors. And, oh yeah, let me say this. To all the mentees out there, the ones that's talking about they're trading and got trading models, I got my eyes on you. Got my eyes on you. The mentorship is just about learning to read price action, not trading. But I mean, if you're already trading, if you're already a trader and you're just in the mentorship because you want to, try to soak up a little game and learn the ICT concepts a little better, hey, that's you. But if you are a true beginning mentee, you should not be trying to trade these markets because we are just touching the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what you need to know and understand and read these markets in order to risk real capital in it. Till the next time I decide to get on Algo's in there and share my thoughts on this thing we call price action, it's your boy, Timothy Lee Rogers Sr., a.k.a. Aranya Grande, for my non-Spanish speaking compadres. That's Big Spider. I'm gone, man. Yeah.